Hey Geminis, Island Turtle here. Welcome to BOMISpirit. This is going to be your monthly intuitive messages for Gemini, Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus, and Jupiter. There's a part 2 over on Patreon and Vimeo. Links are below for your convenience. On Patreon, we do live hangouts. We do full moon, new moon hangouts where I do the astrology, we pull cards, we hang out. I offer early access to all the sign readings and the weeklies, and I also offer all the part 2s as well. So go ahead and check that out and read the tiers and decide if it's to your liking. But anyway, Gemini, let's talk about you. I was getting a very soft energy with you, actually. I was being pulled to the deer. The deer came through really, really strong for you. That could be one of your animal totems. It could be an animal you already work with. But the medicine of the deer is very feminine. It's about grace. It's about beauty. It also has this very motherly, yummy, watery, even though it's an earth animal, like a four-legged animal, watery healing energy of the heart. It can also speak to sexuality as well, matriarchal sort of energy. It also actually could speak to communion with spirit and being in tune with spirit as well. So it's a really, really powerful spirit animal coming through to work with you. You could be called at this time to be actually taking more time in nature. I was getting a little bit of fae energy kind of calling you. I was getting a little bit of the elementals calling you, that realm of beings, if you will, and enjoying the quiet of nature. And in that way of enjoying the quiet, you actually could be communing with them quite a lot. You could have a lot of animals walking to you at this time. I'm getting a lot of like earthly, like god goddess sort of energy with you, and it feels very soft. It feels very yummy. It also feels very feminine, but I do feel like you're spending a lot of quiet time in nature and communing specifically with Gaia, with nature. It feels really good. It feels really good. And if you're not doing that right now, you maybe feel called to do that soon. Okay. All right, Gemini, let's go ahead and pull some cards for you. We're actually going to start the herbal astrology deck. That feels very appropriate. I don't think that's linked below yet. Any messages or insights from my Geminis? I might even use my fairy deck for you guys. Any messages or insights for Gemini? Also getting the word song, specifically song, music, tones. Again, if you're communing out in nature a lot, you might actually start to get more auditory psychic experiences. You might actually start to hear the earth communing back with you, or you might start to hear certain tones and frequencies. I'd pay attention if that is happening for you. But music may be very important to you at this time. Vibration may be very important to you at this time. You'll be very sensitive to these things at this time. Any messages or insights for Gemini? Any messages or insights for Gemini? Any messages or insights for my Geminis? Let's see here. Dandelion, wounded healer. Whoa, coming out here with Jupiter and Chiron energy. 53 breaking down to an 8. There's a lot going on here. I am getting the word DNA very specifically. Some of you guys could be going through activations at this time. Some of you guys are closing out some big ancestral stuff at this time. They're saying this is also why it's important to take quiet time and to be out in nature a lot. There's something just very healing with the earth, specifically with you, for you, in the realm of the fae and animals and elementals. Again, the deer is going to be a really nice animal medicine for you, animal totem for you at this time, coming through with dandelion. Can I get anything else for Gemini? I might even read that one to you. It just feels very like, read me for Gemini. Anything else for Gemini? Sorry, they're pulling me back. DNA healing, ancestral healing coming through there for Geminis. Some of my mystics here, you're probably already aware of this. Some of you may even be doing collective ancestral clearing. You would already know if that's the case. You'll know what I mean by that if that's the case. Any messages or insights for Gemini? Sorry, I can feel a lot of you asking questions. If you have any doubts or confusions about that, it's not for you. Okay. All right. Any messages or insights for Gemini? Blue Lotus with intuition, sun and moon energy coming out with Blue Lotus. And Sage, blessing. Wow, you have 5, 6, and 53, which is an 8, but also holds that other, has another 5 in it. You have 2 Jupiters, Jupiter, Moon, Jupiter, Chiron, and then 2 moons. Moon's Jupiter, Moon, Jupiter, and Moon, Sun here with Dandelion, Blue Lotus, and Sage. I feel like I'm speaking to Geminis where you are at a very spiritual time right now. And if you're not, you probably should be. And you should be taking time, making time for that. It doesn't feel like something that's just going to happen to you. It feels like something, if you make the room and space for, will start to play out, start to happen. I just feel a lot of quiet time, a lot of communing time. Almost being in just very heavy meditation. This is not going to be a reading for everybody here. There's a lot to be found in the forest, is what I just heard. There's a lot to be found in the forest. There literally might be something waiting for you in the forest. Might be a deer. I feel like if you see a deer, it's going to be at a very important time. It's going to signal something to you, is what I feel when the next time or you spot a deer, especially if it's out in nature. But if you're like in a city or something, I would definitely make time to go camping or, again, be in nature in some kind of capacity. I keep getting, there's like something waiting for you in the forest. Ashwagandha is the overall energy with purpose. 54, another moon. You got 3 moons, Gemini. You could have Cancer in your chart, but you have 3 moons and 2 Jupiters, and this also has the North Node on it with ashwagandha. Ashwagandha also helps us to balance our system. I'm getting a lot of that for you too, Gemini. Almost like your nervous system, your endocrine system needs to be harmonized. Something feels a little out of whack there for you. You could be really tired for no reason. You could be having a lot of mood swings. I know you're Gemini, but you could be having a lot of mood swings. But I'm getting more like energetically you would feel this or have weird sensations with your nervous system. I am not a doctor. Need to make that disclaimer. I am not a medical doctor. If you are struggling with any sort of ailment, obviously rule that out for yourself. I am not a medical doctor, but I am getting, for a lot of you, there's like these weird physical sensations, and it's your nervous system, endocrine system. Something is off, is just what I'm intuiting here. And getting like into an environment, and it might be because, again, you're very sensitive at this time, or your sensitivity is increasing. That's why time in nature is so important. Like getting away from like electronics, getting away from noise and people will be really good for you to yeah, it's like I'm almost glitchy, to recalibrate. Okay. And then I just have to say it, underneath ashwagandha with purpose, we do have poppy with dream. This is actually a little bit like a devil card with Saturn and with Neptune. It's about how easy we can get lost. Yeah, how easy we can get lost in certain things that we find comfort in, or things that make us feel like we're connecting and communing. So that's also very interesting. Some of you may be relying too much on certain tools or modalities to commune or connect, or to ground and decompress from the day, like drinking, TV, things like that. Or if it's more about the communing factor, like using too much like plant medicine, or relying on music, or relying on this, or relying on that, instead of just being. Okay. Wow. Yeah, very specific here. I'm not going to read Dandelion. I'm eager to get deeper into the reading for you, actually. So I'm going to use a different deck that I haven't used in a bit, because it feels necessary. Where are you? That feels good. I might use another one too. We're going to use the Priestess of Light. Sorry, they're pulling me back here with ashwagandha in your overall energy with that card of purpose. Something's going to get very, very clear to you when you tune out all of the everything. It's very clear, Gemini, all the noise, all the people. When you tune it out and you just let yourself be. Some of you have serious problems with sleeping, whether it's recent or it's a pattern. That's because you're fighting something. You're fighting something around the experience of sleep, whether it's really tuning into self or really tuning into spirit, or it's like fear of sleeping. I don't know. That's kind of interesting. Um, yeah, that's interesting. That's just what I'm picking up with you. All right, Gemini. Let's do this. Priestess of Light. Any other messages or insights for Gemini? Sorry, I'm getting pulled to Sage with Blessing. This to me feels like gifts being given. That absolutely to me feels like gifts being given. Some of you, that's the gift of wisdom. That came up for someone else today. I think it might have actually been Cancer, your neighbor. So again, if you have any Cancer in your chart, I'd watch that reading for sure. It just feels like there's a lot that's trying to balance within you energetically. Again, nervous system wise and endocrine system wise and all of that. But even spiritually, like something's trying to come through to you so that you can be clear. So that you can be clear on something. It's interesting too that Poppy came in after Ashwagandha, because there is this feeling a little bit with you, Gemini, that you have gotten carried away about something, or you've got like something's run away with you, and you've almost lost sight, lost focus on an aspect of your path. It's not that you're lost, it's that you've almost, so yeah, just something's run away from you is just what it feels like. Any messages or insights for Gemini? Can I get a card for Dandelion? Clarity. Clarity. Planning, releasing illusion, energy of 5. It's interesting because this is coming through on the wounded healer energy, right? On healing that's taking place, especially on like literally a DNA kind of level, an ancestral level. That is tying into how something got away from you, or how you got carried away with something. It's rooted in some sort of distortion that I think you've actually worked through already. But it's needing to realize that, like, okay, how can I phrase this? Let's say you came to some sort of conclusion about an aspect of your path, or what you're doing, or what you want, or what something needs to be. Okay? Let's say you came to this conclusion 6 months ago, a year ago, 5 years ago, 10 years ago. Whatever was driving that within you actually came from a distorted place and from an old way of thinking. Some of you a restricted way of thinking, and you held on to that conclusion, but you've worked through the distortion. So now the conclusion doesn't make sense. You need to see that. You need to see that. That's kind of what I'm getting here. Very fascinating. Okay, moving on. Can I get a card for Blue Lotus with intuition? I love Blue Lotus. So personally, I've worked a lot with Blue Lotus. I love her. I adore her. I actually haven't sat with her in a bit. I should probably sit with her again. Very feminine, very like upper chakra, like crown sort of energy. And also, how do I want to say? Oh, I just got tight in the throat. Very good for dream time. Very, very good for dream time. Very good for meditation. If you want to work with Blue Lotus, I would definitely work with Blue Lotus right before you meditate or trying to go to sleep. It kind of like relaxes you, like lavender. It's also very bitter. But I love Blue Lotus. Can I get a card for Blue Lotus, please? Can I get a card for Blue Lotus for Gemini? Idyllic times, the garden, paradise. Again, the more time you take to commune, the more you're going to see something. And I also want to say be given something. Again, it could be the gift of clarity, the gift of wisdom, but idyllic times coming in here. This is through your own intuitive insight, intuitive knowing, being able to see the best path ahead, being able to build upon happiness, build upon abundance, building upon peace to evoke more peace. But it feels like the only way it's going to come to you is by literally taking time away from modern life, is how it feels. I know this sounds like a dramatic message. Again, this is clearly not for a lot of people. Can I get a card for Sage, for Gemini? I feel like this is more for my mystics. Can I get a card for Sage? setting boundaries. I knew I felt a protective energy around that, but I just didn't call it out. Setting boundaries, threshold protection, and honor. I'm getting the word respect. There's something about this going into nature, going to meet with the deer, to meet with the fae, to meet with the elementals, to meet with the animals, like to meet with spirit, really, which is also to meet with self. That really, really needs to be respected and honored is honestly what I'm getting with this. But I was getting a protective energy. I was getting that. You might be given some information. This is so for my mystics, information or downloads that you need to keep to yourself that are only for you. Okay, so be mindful about that. Some of you, discipline, thank you. Some of you also need to be more disciplined about your own energy and your practice, which I think is honestly how some of you got a little off kilter in the first place. Again, I keep getting like hormones are out of whack, or like nervous system is like something's out of whack. Something's out of whack and wants to be put in whack. Like, you know, and something about not being disciplined and how you share your energy put you in that state in the first place. And it's time to get rebalanced here, reacquainted in that way, recalibrated in that way. Let's see what else wants to come out for my Geminis. I almost want to say you need like an energetic detox. Overall, we have angelic assistance, beautiful, coming in here with the energy of 6, divine guidance and loving support. Again, all of this is very spiritual, Gemini. All this is very much like, go be with the great I am. like very, very clearly, go be with the great I am, and everything's gonna be balanced and fine and harmonious. Interesting. Underneath that, we do have the twin flame card. Soul partner, eternal connection. This card for me, I usually read it as mirroring relationships and also just being at one with yourself and at one with God is how I see that. If you ascribe to the belief in twin flames, and obviously this is pertaining to that, but this is definitely go be with the great I am. It's funny, we've had a couple like this is like the second Lion King reference today. The first one came with actually it was Cancer. I would have to watch a Cancer reading. It came with Cancer. I think I labeled that one like going back to the Pride Lands, or Simba goes back to the Pride Lands, and the great I am, the Beyonce song from the modern Lion King is coming to me with that. But yeah, time to be with the great I am for sure. All right, we're at 20 minutes. I just want to go, I want to take this reading slow. All right, we're going to go ahead and get into part 2. Okay, I feel like it's very clear already what you need to do, Gemini, what your homework is, and what's going on. All right, we're going to get deeper into it in part 2, but Geminis, I hope this was helpful to you and useful and insightful. And for those of you guys joining me in part 2, I'll see you guys in a minute, okay? Take care, Geminis.